Simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Stay On Course podcast with our host, Julie Riga. Julie, how are you? I'm ready to eat. I'm hungry.
I mean, it's that
It
time
says
of
that,
night. It
yeah,
is
I'm
5:30 here.
no, no, but I do weird types of intermittent fasting where some days I don't eat at all, just one meal a day. It's called OMAD. And then sometimes I'll literally have like a couple snacks and not eat dinner till 7 o'clock. And it's great intermittent fasting. I've created my own diet, but you're going to talk food right now. I'm in trouble. But go ahead with our guest today, who I'm intrigued by because I've never seen someone niche so well as this guest. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's exciting. So we have Bill Brady today. He is a culinary content expert with over 20 years working with top brands like Walmart. Bill is a pro at creating visual stories that drive sales. And today's going to share his ingredients for success as he shares with us how he does the work that he does and the customer journey that he takes his customers on. Welcome, Bill, to the Stay on Course podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. So before we get started, I ask all of our guests this question, and it is, what is your favorite food?
Well, it's like saying what is my favorite child? At the moment, my favorite food is Indian cuisine. I particularly like chicken tikka masala and chaat masala. But it changes depending on what I'm in the mood for.
I like Indian food a lot. I think there's a lot of variety there. How about you,
Yeah.
Neil? Are you into it?
Yeah, I like certain Indian food. I guess what my favorite thing is the bread. What is the bread called again?
None.
Naan.
Naan. I like naan. So give me a bunch of naan.
It's
Okay.
really good. It's really good.
But it's the
So
specific things. Yeah. Go ahead.
amazing. Bill, let's talk about food photography and a little bit about what you do and some of the ingredients for success. Tell us a little bit about what you do. I need to hear about this.
All right, so if you ever walk into a McDonald's and you look at the menu board and you see the hamburger that's juicy and delicious, and then you get it in person, the reality does not match the fantasy of the photograph. I create the fantasy of the photograph. So
Oh,
like a food photograph needs to hit you on every level visually because you can't smell the food, you can't taste the food, and you can't eat it. So you have to be able to see it and say, "Oh,
mm,
I want that." And that's my personal goal for food photography is if I don't make you hungry with it, then I haven't done my job.
interesting.
And it's so popular on Instagram, TikTok, food, right? That just people love watching it and seeing it, and specifically video or picture form.
Yeah, it's crazy how that exploded. I mean, when I first started out, I got my career going. I did all the photography for the Food Emporiums in New York, which is a supermarket that was owned by the A&P chain. And there weren't that many food photographers out there. I would constantly be fighting for the same job with 10 or 15 other photographers. Now there's hundreds and thousands of food photographers out there.
Mm.
Not saying that all of them, have the same amount of talent, but it's so much easier to shoot food now than when I started.
Wow. So super interesting. And you know what I'm wondering before we get into the ingredients part? I noticed like some of the lower end restaurants have pictures of their food, but I don't see that at high end restaurants. Do you know why?
Well, a lot of the low end restaurants get it done for free from like DoorDash and Uber Eats. High end restaurants, for some strange reason, they think that their space is what they're selling, and they're really selling food. I've done work for restaurants. Um, I think the short answer is restaurants, I don't know if they see the value in it, and it's expensive to do like real food photography. Like if you just want to hire somebody for $500 to bang out dishes, that's fine. But if you really want a game plan, then you hire a guy
Okay.
like me, and I charge a lot more than that.
All right, tell us some ingredients for success for doing this kind of photography.
Well, because it is an expensive undertaking, pre production is very important. So, because I've been doing this so long, I'm not learning on the job. So usually what'll happen is I'll get a creative brief from the marketing team or the creative team, and we'll go through the objectives of the shoot. We'll figure out how many shots we can do in a day. Do they want video and photography? And then just extreme planning on the front end creates a maximum return on investment for the client. Another secret, is I usually give people more than what they ask for. I'm always doing extra angles. So if I have a particular thing on set, once I get the objective of the main photograph, I'll go in and I'll move the camera and I'll get really close up and I'll do some macro photography. And most of the time, it triples the amount of output that you normally would get in a food photo because I'm not just taking the picture. While I'm working with a food stylist, they're styling the next dish. I have plenty of time to play around, and because we're shooting digitally, the food doesn't generally die on you that fast. So I can really go in and create multiple angles and do other, things that give my clients a lot of value. And then
So, okay, let me stop you there. So, a food stylist. So, you're working with a food stylist and a chef, or is the food stylist the chef?
So generally speaking, a food stylist is a chef that styles food for film. A
Oh,
chef is a chef that makes dishes for for people to eat. So the two are not mutually exclusive.
okay,
Um,
okay.
my- so I've worked with chefs that are great food stylists, like the guys that work in the Michelin restaurants. They can style food just as good as any food stylist. What a good food stylist will do for you, though, is they know what you want and they can create the food so that it's camera ready. So when it comes on set, I'm able to shoot it without tweaking it too much.
Nice, nice. I wonder, it must be a lot easier to work with food as your subject rather than people.
Depends on the day. But yeah, usually food doesn't talk back, but it also, I like to say food photography is shooting still life on a timer because the food does eventually not look good. So you have to be able to, go in with a plan, figure out how to light it, make sure that it's ready to go, and then execute before the food doesn't look good anymore. I mean, we can do stuff to fix it on set, but after a while, it gets funky.
Hmm. Neil, what are you thinking? I see your
I,
your
I'm,
head
I'm
is
I'm just thinking,
turning.
ready to go for, is that one of the first ingredients? That's what I was wondering. Are we gotten there yet? Or Julie loves food, especially because of her father's background as a chef. That really, her late father, that really is one reason why you're intrigued by this food conversation, right, Julie?
Yeah, I mean, look, my father was the Grand Marnier. What was it? Garde Manger, did they call it? When they make the fruit to look like flowers, and there's like a French word for it. Is it called garde manger? Do you know that word? I think that's what
Maybe.
it's called. So, and very, very interesting. So, tell us another ingredient for success when working in food photography.
Oh, I think this is a ingredient for success for any business or any business owner. If you make a mistake, admit your mistake and fix it. Don't try and blame other people like, oh, so and so didn't bring me this or the food stylist did a bad job. Like nobody wants to hear that. It's how do I solve the problem? Oh, this isn't working. And I've been on set a lot of times where you make the plan and you're sticking to the plan, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, that dish does not look good on that plate. And you have to make the call like, all right, redo it, fix it. Because the end result is not going to give the client what they want. And, all the planning in the world, you still have to have improvisation in the process in order to make it spontaneous and organic. At the end of the day, you want people to eat what you want them to desire what you're shooting. So it has to look the best that it can.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you take the responsibility, not your team. So if your team messes up, say, I'm going to redo this. It's my fault. I will fix this. I think that's a great ingredient for success because if you go with clients like we didn't make a mistake, it's on you. This is or oh, it was the heat today, or oh, I had so much traffic, or oh, I had 20 different deadlines today. No, what the client expects, you have to deliver.
Right. Because, as a commercial photographer, I'm a hired gun. You're not hiring me because I can shoot food the best. You're hiring me because I can solve your problem. So, and I can do it in a way in which um, everybody gets what they need. But by pointing fingers, you just waste time. And, I always found, you know, if you admit a mistake, it diffuses the situation immediately, and not everybody is cool about it, but, at the end of the day, you can't put it on somebody else. Like it's my set, so everything that goes through my set is ultimately my responsibility.
Well, Bill, I became obsessed with taking pictures of food, by the way, for a little bit after when my father's book came out. So I'm going to send you the Instagram so you can check out some of my food photography. But
Okay.
tell us, Bill, tell us what is going on right now. What can we look out for and how can we contact you?
So, I'm working on a lot of different projects. I'm working on some video projects. I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm working on a series of art projects that I shot on film many, many years ago, and I'm kind of going through my old work. And shot on film is very like in vogue now. So I have archives of stuff. When I started taking pictures, I was like 8 years old, and I had
Wow.
dark rooms, and so I'm going through all my old negatives and all that. But aside from that, I work for my regular clients. I'm making do sandwiches for Boar's Head, and work for Golden Crust, and Ocean Box Fish and Fulton Fish Market and stuff. So I'm fairly busy. People can contact me through my website. It's BillBradyPhotography.com, or if you just go to LinkedIn and go Bill Brady Photography, I should come right up. It looks like my picture's there. It looks just like me.
So how do
Hey.
you video using pictures? It's like almost cinematography in certain aspects, right? Where like explain how that's done, specifically to video pictures. I define how you do that. Like you're
No,
taking
it's an actual you use a video, like you have to use a video camera. So my cameras have video capability and still capability. So a couple of years ago I switched over to continuous light because I used to use flashes all the time. And I still do, like if I need to catch a splash or something fast. But most clients want video and photography on the same day. So what I'll do is I'll set up the dish, I'll shoot the still, and then I'll take out a different camera that's like on a slider or whatever, and then I'll capture a move, or I'll do some sort of an action where the somebody's flipping a burger, so it's actual video. It's not just a still photo that's turned into video.
okay. I got it. And that's what's really interesting is, and I'm sure you're seeing a lot of videographers who are now trying to become photographers because
Yes.
the capability of new cameras are you can take the still shots from, or you could take the video, make them still shots and use them. What do you think of the quality of those, especially as a photographer, when you see videographers do that?
I think it's fine. I mean, honestly, the key to any good photo or video, it starts with good lighting. And a lot of times you'll see like something that's styled well, and it's even composed well and shot well, but the lighting is just not there. And a lot of people rely on, Photoshop or post-production to fix things. My philosophy is really, let's do it in camera. Let's try and get as much in camera as we can, because we don't have to spend, endless hours trying to fix mistakes when you do it right the first time. So any videographer, like a good cinematographer, can shoot stills. I mean, it shouldn't be a problem. It's really a lot easier because they've already got the blocking for the video. All they have to do is lock the camera and just, take a still with that. Or if you're using like a high-end red camera, you can take a still while you're doing the video and pull it from the frame. So,
Another thing, but it takes a lot of work. Julie, again, are you ready to do more food photography?
Yeah, I am. I'm ready to do more food because I'm ready to eat. That's the thing. So the only reason I'm doing food photography because I'm ordering the food and I'm eating it. So I'm
Right.
taking the picture of that. So Bill, as we close today, thank you so much for being a guest on the Sand Course podcast and the Neil Haley
Sure.
show. But what I really want to know is, do you get to eat the food after you do all this? Do they make you a meal, anything?
Well, the number one rule in commercial food photography is never eat what's on set. If you're shooting in restaurants, absolutely, because it's real food. The food stylists do nasty things to the food. They put glue in it, they put pins in it, like to get
Oh,
when we shoot sandwiches, you have to scoop the bread and you have to put pins in it, and you just don't want to eat anything that's been laying. Plus, it's out. It's people touching it. But
of
there's
course.
always stuff like left over, and then you can cook that and eat it.
But also you got to watch out is like you see these McDonald's hamburgers or Burger King and they're like so awesome and look delicious. Then you open it up and say, what the heck is this? This is not what I saw in the picture.
It
Right.
looks
But here,
fluffy. Everything looks fluffy. It's like
well,
big.
but here's the interesting thing. So when you shoot for McDonald's, you have to use the McDonald's ingredients. So the way that they accomplish that is they have teams of food stylists going through hundreds of hamburgers to pick out the best looking burgers, buns, French fries, and they pick through everything and make sure that and then they do their food styling tricks to it. But all that stuff is stuff that has to come from the company that you're shooting, because otherwise it's false advertising.
All right. Great stuff. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show on the